the letter you wrote to Candace Owens, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to say what you said about it. And
it's 7,500 words. You couldn't read the whole thing.
No, I'm not going to go through it. That'll take us a while, right? But I'll say this. So Dennis Prager confronts Candace Owens on anti-Semitism in 15-page letter. Let me see where this is at, page 11. Let me go to it. Rob, let's see what we got. So it's going to take me about 30 minutes to read this, folks, so hang tight. Here we go. Published a 15-page letter to Candace Owens accusing her of engendering suspicion of Jew Zionism in Israel. He wrote, whatever your motives, I cannot think of anyone in public life in the internet has more suspicion of Jews as are you. Prager directly challenged her claims, including medieval blood libels about Jews murdering Christian children, and a notion that Israel exists to protect pedophiles. Prager stresses that actions overweigh motives, telling Owens motives rarely matter, actions matter, and as the amount of evil done by people with good motives is far greater than the amount of evil committed by people with evil motives. Despite this shock, he notes, I don't impugn your motives, I don't even judge them, but condemns the consequences of her statements. What happened there? What happened there with your messaging?
So there's a particularly difficult notion or situation, not notion, because Candace, I think, had her big opening with PragerU, and she worked with us until, I don't know, about 3-4 years ago. Then she went to the Daily Wire. And she was, we had a great deal of hope and faith in her, because she was courageous, she's articulate, which is known to everybody, and she's not wrong on everything. But for reasons I believe literally only God knows, I'm not even sure she does, she just took a turn on Jews, Zionism, Israel, that I couldn't believe it. And so I didn't say anything for a while, because I just thought, wait a minute, this is not the Candace I know. My wife and I attended her wedding in England. I mean, that's how close we are. And so I couldn't believe it. But I then spent 2 months and my wife, so it's really 4 months of researching, because I didn't want to take a single quote out of context. And I quoted directly in every case. I put it in quotes. And no one has ever accused this 7,500 words of having a single word out of context. But the things that she has said are very, very disturbing. And I in a very calm voice, as I'm speaking now, but in a calm written voice, I answered every single one of the statements that she made. And I hope people will read it. And I sent it to her, and I took a month before I published it publicly. I wanted her to have a chance to respond if she wanted. I didn't think that
you sent it to her directly.
Oh, yes, directly, absolutely. We spoke on the phone. Yes, you
spoke to her about the letter?
Yes, that's correct.
What did she say?
Well, I mean, the only thing that I want to repeat is that both in writing, which I did publish, and on the phone, she spoke of her love for Marissa Streit, the CEO of PragerU, and myself, and which made it all the harder for me to do this. But it had to be done, and I volunteered to go on her show if she would ever want to talk about it. I'm not pushing to do so. I think that what I wrote is so clear, so honest, that anyone with an open mind, including her most devoted followers, will have to rethink her statements about Jews, Israel, and Zionism.
Dennis, if I'm interpreting this right, it doesn't seem like you want to go point by point of what you said. You're kind of encouraging people to
oh, no, it would take too long. It's 7,500 words. I would, but it's not necessary. It's all there. I didn't memorize 7,500 words.
Most people are not going to read it.
Well,
if you could.
No.
What do you think that she gets fundamentally right? And what do you think she gets fundamentally wrong?
On Israel, Jews, and Zionism, she gets almost nothing right. I mean, that Israel. I mean, some of the things are so.
Give us some examples.
Well,
please.
that basically that Israel was founded to protect pedophiles. I mean, or that Herzl, the founder of modern Zionism, was a Frankist, which I taught Jewish history at Brooklyn College. I know modern Jewish history pretty well. I mean, they were a tiny, nothing segment of Jews. nobody knew they existed until Candace, for whatever reason, resurrected them as a group. Or even resurrecting the notion that there may be some truth to the fact that Jews would kill Christians around Passover time to use their blood for matzah. You know how many Jews were tortured to death on that charge in the Middle Ages? And then to even resurrect it as if there was any credibility to it? I just don't know. I don't know where it's from. This is a very painful situation, but I owed it to truth, number one, and I owed it to Jewish history. Too many Jews have been the subject of libels, and I am very critical of Jews when necessary. As I say often, American Jews prove that there is little relationship between intelligence and wisdom. The number of Jews who have high intelligence and who have unwise views is very sad. I mean, who flirted with leftism is very depressing to me. But I don't have a defend Jews at all costs notion. I'm not like that. But against the notions that Zionism is a pedophiliac reaction, or not, or this new thing that you hear, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas chants, Judaism, yes, Zionism, no. Zionism is as part of Judaism as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are part of Christianity. It's like saying Christianity, yes, Jesus, no. Or Christianity, yes, the Holy Spirit, no. Zionism, Zion is listed dozens and dozens of times in the Hebrew Bible. We have so many cities in America called Zion. These were Christian Zionists. Zionism means only that the Jews can go back to the country where they originated, Israel. Zion is another word for Israel or Jerusalem. When 220 countries have legitimacy and only one does not, and it's the only Jewish state, a fair-minded person has a right to say that view is anti-Semitic, even if you may not be anti-Semitic. I don't believe Candace hates all Jews, but that's not what anti-Semite. It's not the only definition of it. The only, and I wrote a book called Why the Jews on anti-Semitism. The only movement that hated all Jews was the Nazis, but there have been anti-Semitic movements all through Jewish history. Only Hitler said there's no such thing as a good Jew. Even at the worst persecutions of Jews in the Catholic Church, if you converted to Catholicism and you were a Jew, you were a good Jew, or you were a good Christian. Now, the notion that you're racially imbued with being awful is very old, is very rare, I should say. So you can't separate Judaism and Zionism. I know people say you can, but they're not. It's not true. The return to Zion is every religious Jew prays 3 times a day, and one of the prayers is, "And may our eyes see our return, and may you, God, bring us for the 4 corners of the earth back to Zion." Herzl didn't invent Zionism; he invented the modern secular movement of it. But it is intrinsic to Judaism. And if the only country on earth you say is not valid is the only Jewish country on earth, that's by definition anti-Jewish. There's no other read about it. Why is Pakistan? I always raise Pakistan. 14 million refugees when Pakistan was wrenched out of India to make a Muslim state. 14 million. The number of Palestinian refugees was 670,000. This was 7 million Hindus, 7 million Muslims. 100,000 women minimum were raped. Virtually 0 were raped in the creation of Israel. And yet Pakistan is legitimate, and Israel, which is the only country that ever existed in the land called Palestine. Remember, Palestine was never a country. It was a land like North America. North America was never a country. Europe was never a country. It's a piece of land. It's the name of a land. So all of this is made clear there, and it's disturbing that it has to be said, but it has to be said.
Tom.
I thought that was beautifully spoken, and I think that the confusion over labels is so freaking dangerous, because it creates that which is mistaken. I mean, it's the argument you're making is exactly along the lines of where conservatives and liberals are so different. Conservatives believe liberals are wrong, but the liberals tend to be the conservatives are evil. To say someone is wrong is a conclusion that implies some sort of processing and research, right? You're wrong. Why do you think that? Well, let me explain. But when you say someone's evil, that could also be a conclusion, but there's also this emotion behind it because it's such a powerful word designed to get you. And what people don't understand is when they're saying, "Oh, you're a Zionist," so they imply that means most of the time, and help me, Dennis. They'll say it because what they're saying is, "Oh, you're Zionist. You wanted to put this state in the middle of these other people and displace them for all no reason. So you're bad. You're one of those Zionists. You want the state there in the middle with this peaceful country." It wasn't a peaceful country. It was this open land that was under the, providential kind of semi-authority of other countries.
Well, of Britain and before that, Turkey.
That's right. And, Foreign Legion never got there. The French got to Africa and hung a left. That's the notion of it. And you're so correct. And people are using these words differently so that they can create the division. And it is intellectually dishonest the way they're doing it.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Vinny.
No, so, I mean, he answered. I was just going to ask if he thought that Candace, I mean, I think she's, because I haven't seen the videos that you're talking about for doing these deep dives, but when you said you don't think that she hates Jewish people, do you think that she's just digging deep and finding information and connecting dots, but it's just like, you don't think that she hates you? She doesn't hate all Jewish people, correct?
Right, but as I said, no anti-Semite other than Hitler and the Nazis hated all Jews. So the issue is, did the Soviet Union hate all Americans?
No.
There's no such thing. Nobody hates all members of a group. It's almost unheard of. The Nazis were unique in that way. But close is Hamas. Hamas acknowledges they want to eradicate the Jews of Israel. They would like to eradicate the Jews of the world. They said, "Oh, it's great if Jews move to Israel. Then we have more to kill in one place." And that's the way they think. People cannot. Apparently, this is one of the longest ongoing beliefs of my life. It is wrong to describe evil as dark. You can look into the dark. You cannot look into the bright light. Evil is not dark. Evil is bright light, and people choose to look away. The denial of evil is the greatest single denial that people have. I saw this with communism. Communism was as evil as you can get. 100 million people, non-combatants slaughtered, billion enslaved. It had no redeeming feature. It was pure, horrible evil. And yet in the Western world, with all of its freedom and affluence, they were not anti-communist. They were anti-communist, which is another one of my theories. People who don't fight evil hate people who do fight evil. Israel is hated for fighting evil, not because Israel is evil. Israel is one of the most decent countries on the face of the earth. We have quote after quote of West Point scholars saying no army has been as moral in urban warfare as Israel has. The head of the British troops in Afghanistan made a PragerU video years ago saying it was the most moral army in the world, and this guy's a member of the British Army.
So let me give my perspective
Sure.
on this, and I want to move on from this. I appreciate you for talking about this because, the one thing with Valuetainment is we are friends with Candace. We like Candace. We like you. I think Ben is necessary. We're good with Tucker. And, we're good with Cuomo. Cuomo sometimes 1 minute he's saying this, next minute, but listen, still we're friends. We can break bread with everybody and we get along with everybody, right? Now, some of them may not like us for competitive reasons. We don't have a problem with anybody. But I will tell you a couple things here that I was watching a video from Tate yesterday. We're friends with Tate. And the video I watched with Tate, and he says, what the F is going on with the world? And he says, I have a position here that I'm sitting here, talking about, what's going on with this and what's going on with, AIPAC and all this other stuff. I think that he was saying this. And he says, all of a sudden I find myself in a room with people that who agree with me, but they want people's dangling to be cut off. I'm like, well, how the hell did I end up in this room? So part of it is kind of like when you're defending an argument, and then you go in the room and you're like, wait a minute, I don't agree with 80% of what you got. Why am I in the same room with you? Oh, shit, I made a mistake being in this room. No, I can't be in this room. I don't relate to you guys, right? It's a very weird thing. And then, but at the same time, I'm with John Anderson, who's the former, vice president of Australia. You know who he is. You guys have done stuff together. He's here. Was it Vinny last week or 2 weeks ago that interview?
2 weeks, Rob?
Okay,
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah,
okay, maybe 3
weeks.
weeks. Okay. He's in town, and we do the interview at the new building. And he asked me a question. He says, so what do you think about all this anti-Semitism, the hate that, what do you call it, people are experiencing right now, especially the Jewish community with all the stuff that's going on, and, Florida and all these other things. And I don't know if Australia apparently banned Candace. I don't know if you saw that. There's something about Australia banned Candace for anti-Semitic comments. And so I came out and I said, look, this is the part you're not going to agree with, because he asked me a question about, Muslims and death upon America, and I gave my views on that. And then I flipped around and I said, look, why can't we make an argument against it? Why can't we? I wasn't, the idea of not allowing somebody to make an argument against it is kind of weird, because my experience, every Jew that I've experienced with in my life, every Jew, I personally, from Iran, from Germany, from here, from parents getting a divorce from mom's side that were Jews or dad's side that were Jews, I've never had a bad experience in my life with a Jew. Never. I've never had it. I can tell you I've had more bad experiences with some other communities than Jews. Now, sitting across and trying to sell a Jew policy or something and doing business with them, I have to read Art of the Deal 75 times. I have to go read every single negotiation book. I have to go to a Tom Hopkins seminar. I have to go read every damn thing to try to get $1 out of this guy. He owes me a suit.
Oh my God, he does.
It's been a year. He still hasn't bought me the suit, right? So can I sit there? Can I sit there and say the fact that my experience in that side has been that they're tough negotiators? Okay, yeah, I'll say that. Can I sit there and they say, they're better at using leverage and making that additional 3, 4, 5 phone calls to get a deal done? Yes. Can I say that they have better connections, that they're all united together as Jews when it comes on to doing something? That guy's going to have his back. No matter what, that guy's not going to flip on this guy? Yes. For the most, that's the part. But, I don't have a bad experience there. By the way, I can go with, and I've been in the Army. I've been in a lot of different places. I grew up in Glendale. There was plenty of Jews there, Santa Monica. My sister married a Persian guy whose family's Baha'i, who they got some Jewish folks in their family. We're around them all the time. I've been running an insurance company, 50 states. We're on them all the time. I've never had a bad experience. So, but that doesn't mean you guys didn't over-negotiate with Clinton. That doesn't mean you guys didn't over-negotiate with Carter. That doesn't mean that Israel didn't do a better job negotiating with some of the other people. That doesn't mean some of that stuff that maybe guys use Mossad or some intel that they have. That doesn't mean there's some bad last names that are Jewish whose last names are Weinstein or Epstein. That doesn't mean that. It's okay to have all of these conversations. To me, it's that. However, the one thing I will say as well is anytime we have something that personally offends us or calls us out, we will almost always exaggerate the attacks towards us. Election night is 8 days away. The event is such a hot commodity right now. No joke. I'm at Shops eating Saturday night. The valet guy comes and says, hey, man, can I get 2 tickets? I'm trying to buy. I have to get his number. I'm like, I got my family. I'm trying to get in the car. I go to the house, letters sitting in front of the house. A neighbor says, hey, Pat, I just bought a house in this area. I was trying to buy 2 super VIP tickets. Is there anywhere we can get letters? Everybody's getting, you got a message on Monect of a guy that wants 2 super VIP. Guys, just so you know, the elite tickets sold, gone. The super VIPs oversold. If you gave us $40,000 a ticket right now, we can't sell it to you because it's capacity. I think we have 7 tickets of VIP left. I think we have 12 tickets of the premium left. And I think we have less than 300 tickets of the general left. Once it sells out, it's done. Just so everybody knows. And if you don't know what this event is, Rob, we have, at this point, people have probably seen the video. I don't know if I want to play the video or not. But if you want to kind of play it, and we'll go to the second half of the video. We just bought a building, 11 acres. We're going to have a great time at this building. We're going to have a bunch of people coming down here. That'll be with us. Jorge Masvidal. I think Little Pump is coming. I think Mike Chandler's going to be there. Candace. I think we have Emily
Dave
Austin
Smith.
that's going to be there. Emily Austin's going to be there. I think we got Vince, Vince will be there. Vince Ellison will be there. We got a big lineup. Francis, Sammy, a bunch of people that you're going to know. Ryan Montgomery, a bunch of them are going to be there that night. We will start at 6 p.m. Gates will open. A lot of you guys will go to the Inner Miami. You'll get in a shuttle. It'll escort you over to us for security reasons. We're getting everybody to be secured. And then when you come here from 6 p.m. till 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll be together and we'll be live on the podcast. I have a feeling it's going to be the biggest live podcast worldwide on YouTube that will be broadcasting. And if you haven't yet bought a ticket for yourself, bring your family, bring your relatives, bring your peers. Let's spend that night together. Who knows how the results are going to be? Whatever it's going to be, we'll be talking about a lot of issues on what will happen post-election. So November 5th, go to $59.90 live. Buy your ticket before it sells out. And don't connect and say, Pat, is there any way I can get a ticket? We can't sell you more because it's a number that we reach, and I know we can't sell you anything else. And I'm telling you, I'm getting a message right now, left and right. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.